It is an absolute pleasure to invite everybody to another telecast of Women's Health Weekly, brought to you by the experts in New York City and around the country, representing Maiden Lane Medical and many of our guests who have private practices and work for public health institutions and are all involved to some degree in women's health care. We have a very exciting development, which is that we have now put all of our telecasts out onto podcasts so you can listen to the complete broadcast of the audio. The podcast is available on Apple, on Spotify, and wherever else you may catch your favorite podcast. So I'd like to welcome to our Women's Health Weekly broadcast this week Dr. Daniel Hochman, who is a board-certified psychiatrist. He is an expert in addiction. He runs a fantastic in-person and online recovery and treatment program. And we're really excited to have him here. So welcome to Women's Health Weekly, Dr. Hochman. And how are you today?
Hey, thanks a lot for having me, Ken, and glad to be on and excited to have a discussion here.
So great. We're going to talk about addiction. We're going to talk about addiction in terms of women's health. And we're going to bring that topic back to women's health at every turn. And we really want to ask you, what on earth, what is addiction? You're a psychiatrist, so you must know what addiction is. And so I really want to hear it from your mouth.
So clinically, addiction means that you're getting stuck on a substance, needing to use more and more to reach the same effect. And that, when you get there, well, the other side's hard too. You can't really get off because you've become habituated to it. So that's the physiologic or sort of physical dependent side, is that you get stuck on something and you have a hard time getting off. The other part of it is that there's always a psychological dependence. And pretty much every time you're talking about a true physical addiction, you also have the psychological reliance. So imagine drinking and your body gets physically reliant on it, fine, but you're also becoming psychologically reliant. So you've now grown accustomed, let's say, to drinking anytime you're going to be meeting new people or out, socializing or dealing with, a rough day at work and coming home. Well, now, on top of the physical part, you're now psychologically expecting that, to get through a scary, anxious, sad, tough time, now I've got to use this thing to get by. And over time, we become scared that if we don't have it, we're going to fall apart, or we don't know, what's going to happen, and we're going to become overwhelmed.
So people say all the time, oh, I'm addicted to this show, or I'm addicted to this person. She's great. So I'm addicted to, I have to get that ice cream. I'm totally addicted to it. Is that just the complete is that just the complete incorrect use of the term addiction?
I think it's fine. The irony is, I think that people who use it that way are actually sometimes more accurate than, hardcore scientists saying, no, that's not addiction. You can't be addicted to Netflix. It's not a chemical. I can't show you in the MRI all this stuff happening. The truth is, when we say we're addicted to Netflix or a person, those are behaviors, right? So there's not substances, they're behaviors and relationships to things. We can absolutely become addicted in those ways. And there's data to back that up. So when we put people through functional MRIs, so looking at sort of brain waves and action and how fast the brain is working in certain areas of the brain, we do see very similar patterns when we're talking about being addicted to people, being addicted to shows, especially sugar. So for example, sugar produces a higher dopamine rush than cocaine. So we say, well, I'm addicted to these chips or, whatever, dessert you like, or ice cream, like you said. Those are addictive. Those produce a biochemical response. Now, do we go into withdrawal? Not really. I mean, there's maybe a crash after the sugar rush, but that's not,
Hold on 1 second. Sugar creates like an immediate, just as high, if not higher, dopamine rush than cocaine?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Really?
I mean, we've quantified these things.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And so it's no wonder the sugar addiction is a real addiction. It's powerful.
Oh yeah. I mean, some things taste great, right? And our body needs to have a mechanism to know what it needs to go after. We're animals. We're all dressed up, and we get educated, and we think we're so different. We're animals. We're just beasts. And in the animal world, you need a way to know what to go after, and it needs to feel really good and pleasurable pretty darn quickly, so that we pair that association, so that we say, I like that. So we absolutely get that with food. We get it with people. So we get it with sex. We get it with very beautiful things. So we are animals who are very inclined, we need feedback from our natural world to know what we need to get more of.
So arguably, there's a survival benefit to addiction.
You're absolutely right. You're actually being conservative in saying, that we have some of this mechanism. We all have the so-called addiction circuit entirely in us, from birth, and it remains, and it does have an evolutionary advantage. It is the basis of just brain-body function, is to understand what we want to get more of that's for survival. So any animal needs to have this set up and functioning well in order to survive. If you don't feel good when you're eating or seeking shelter, for humans, shelter often is paired with money. So money is what makes us feel like we're going to be safe and be okay, and procreate, right? So we like sex. Those things are absolutely an evolutionary, not just advantage, it's a necessity. If you don't have those, you're done as an individual or a population.